Hello and welcome to my stream. Tonight we play more of RollerCoaster Tycoon. And last stream we were finally finishing our very long project in Poke Park, or maybe I should say Octagon Park, right? But it was a Pokemon leveled, a Pokemon based level. We were able to finish the 10 different coasters in that park. The last one we worked on was the ground type coaster, and it was definitely one of our best works so far in this playthrough, if not the best. And I think all of those coasters did fit the ideas very well. Definitely, there were some adjustments. They did not um, look in the end in the way I was initially planning, but I was like fixing them and changing the idea little by little, but still getting an amazing result. So after those 65, 66 plus hours in that level, it's finally over. It was a very creative level too, not just because of the coasters, but also because of the other rides. We went everything Pokemon based, pretty much. And yes, I was very satisfied with the result in there. I was very glad as well that even though we took those streaming breaks and I haven't played Roller Coaster Tycoon in like a lot of time, but still, once I returned to the level, I was able to work on the final coasters without a lot of problems or like without many difficulties, and that made me very satisfied because maybe I did get some things about the game and about like building coasters. I'm getting the hang of it. I think I feel more confident today, right? And I hope that confidence is going to stay with us not only for the next level, because the next level, thanks to Cool, that kind of spoiled me, right, about that level and prepared me psychologically for it, I think, but maybe I'm not prepared for it still. But that the next level is going to be Pleasure Island, by the way. It looks very challenging. But I was going to say that not only this confidence needs to stay with me for this level, but also to the next game, Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 as well. Because that game is very, very hard since the beginning. Everything in that game is hardcore, but hopefully with like the training, the practicing, the lessons of this first game experience, we'll be more ready for it when it happens, right? But yeah, today we'll be playing Pleasure Island, a new level after so many time, or so much time actually. And why is this level challenging? Because once again we need to build the 10 coasters again, and also different types, but especially under a very big limitation, and that's what will be painful. The limitation is about the space we have available. It is a very short, a very narrow level, and it has water as well because it is an island. It is very kind of horizontal looking, or maybe vertical, it depends on your perspective, right? But yeah, it's like going to limit us on in the space it has available, and we still gotta find ways to build 10 different coasters in there. At the very least, the excitement rating required for those coasters is lower than before. It is 6, it's not 7. So that's going to help us. And I did think about this level already, like offline, because I was trying to prepare myself for it. It's going to be challenging, I believe. Hopefully, some of my ideas will work out for me to kind of use the best of its space, right, to fit the coasters and also fit the rest of the park. We will see how that goes. Actually, by the way, we are seeing right now in the game the Three Monkeys Park with the coasters going together there. That's one of my ideas, by the way. I'm having Three Monkeys Park as an inspiration for Pleasure Island. I don't know if I will be able to do such a thing, but I will totally hope that something works out for us, right? That said, let's go for the game, but also happy Switch today. Nubba, what's up, man? How was your direct? I can already tell you were very happy about some of the announcements in there, right? Especially that one from Masahiro-san, because we actually predicted that a little bit, right? I was like, holy shit, it is happening. And we were kind of, talking about it the other day thanks to our Kirby marathon. So I'm pretty sure you and Cool are very happy about that announcement. Yeah, of course I did, man. I came here ready. Look at this. My Mario Kart shirt is ready for us to jump into the world, right? We can be talking about the direct little by little. We have lots of things to be talking about, yeah. Heck yeah, I'm excited. I could only think of you, Cool, and our Kirby streams recently, right? Thank goodness you guys told me how Kirby Air Ride was pretty much lost and forgotten for so long. So once I saw the announcement, I was like, holy shit, this is big. I could understand that that announcement was powerful, you know? That, and also because I also watched some other people reacting to the direct already, and they were like losing it, right? They were pretty much fainting because they couldn't take Kirby a ride after so long. And I'm not gonna lie, even though I have seen clips or some videos maybe of the original, I do not remember playing it. You guys are making me excited for it. And it looked amazing, by the way. Yeah, the graphics of that, it was so visually impressive, in my opinion. But yes, I guess I got curious, and who knows, maybe I could consider also going into that or learning more about it or playing the original, something around those lines, you know. Definitely when I'm going for my, I don't know, it's just a dream, right? It's a long time dream of mine to like have a racing games marathon here in the channel. But then I could now add Kirby's Air Ride as well for it. They said in the direct it's been 20 years. Yes, they did say that. That is true. And I think it's mostly because Sakurai was focusing on Smash Brothers, right? And then now that they finally gave him some rest from Smash Brothers, he could work on his other ideas or on the things he really wanted to work on. And I guess he went for Kirby's Air Ride. I'm pretty sure everybody's excited. I think that the only thing that could maybe beat that excitement of Kirby's Air Ride, or maybe would be something side by side, I would say would have been a new F Zero. Yeah, because the fans of F Zero also have been waiting for a new F Zero for like such a long time, isn't it? Also, hi Scap, what's up, man? That Kirby trailer felt Sakurai. I loved how like some of the YouTubers that I already checked that were reacting to the direct, thanks to the sound effects, they already knew it was Sakurai. You know, they were like, oh, either this is Kirby or this is Smash Brothers. When it started, I wasn't very sure because of just seeing the star. Maybe I thought of Kirby, but then I was like, Kirby, Smash. I was even hoping for something Mario still, maybe a Mario RPG or something. I was more lost than the other people I was watching following that trailer, right? People were like, oh, this sound effect, it's freaking something Sakurai, right? I was more lost about that, yeah. And definitely I was not thinking on Kirby's Air Ride. But then once it showed up, I was like, holy shit, this is huge, you know? But then they are only missing the one for the GameCube as well, like the one for the Switch Online expansion pack, yeah. Hopefully they will also bring the original, right? A Kirby trailer felt Sakurai, like I was thinking, you were thinking Kid Icarus? Was it because of the sound effects too, like some other people were saying? And then you saw Kirby and thought maybe it was going to be Smash? I think I thought it was Smash before Kirby showed up, I'm not sure. I was very confused, yeah. But it at least felt like something tied to him, yeah. Now we just gotta hold up and hope for a new Kid Icarus game after Riders. Yeah, the Kid Icarus for Scap right there. And also some F Zero, right, for the fans too. We got F Zero for the expansion pack, the GameCube one, but still it's an old game, right? Where is the new one? At least Donkey Kong is also finally back with new games as well, right? The sound effects, yeah, I was impressed that everyone recognized Sakurai from the sound effects. I'm still not at that level of yours, right? Like, I was focusing on the star and then thinking, which star is that? From which game is that? The moment the boosters got attached to the warp star, I knew. Yeah, that was pretty much the. I don't know, the catch, right? Like, oh, this is it. Man, I would love a new Kid Icarus game. Yeah, we were talking about that in one of the Metroid streams, right? How do you expect, Scap, for a new Kid Icarus game to be like? Do you think it's going to be around the lines of how it was for the 3DS Uprising? Or would you actually expect them to change the formula more and give us something more different? I will be honest with you all here. The Donkey Kong game that was revealed in the last trailer, but before that, let me just open the parkour. I'm not starting the level, right? Give me a second. There we go. Pleasure Island. I'm pausing it. A long thin island makes a challenging setting to build a selection of coasters. So like I was saying, it is a very horizontal, like narrow, thin, painful level that demands 10 different coasters from us with an excitement of at least 6, right? At least the excitement is lower, like I was saying, but it is still going to be annoying and hard and challenging thanks to the limited space we have available. Look at this. Yeah, it's only that. We can buy some extra land though, but that extra land is not really a physical thing. It's more like the rights, right? Yeah, when we check the second option out of those two, because the first one is to buy land, so you can place things on top of them, right? Like you can place things right there on the land itself. But the other one is to only buy the rights. When you are buying the rights, it's something that I actually admit it. I don't fully understand it, but I have an idea, and I hope that my idea is right because this is not something we do normally in this game, or at least I don't like buying rights, right? It just allows us to build supports above it or under it. It's kind of like close to like building on it, but it's a bit different, right? It's just about building things above it or under it. So we'll test that out too if needed. Probably it will be needed on this level, but that's what I think how it goes. I'm more used to the first option, that's directly buying more land, right? Yeah, we'll need to see how that works like. But yeah, the Donkey Kong game that I was saying, at first I was of course happy because we are getting a new 3D Donkey Kong game. But then I was kind of um, I wonder if you guys like the game so far, because I'm needing some time to digest it. Because the beginning of the gameplay of it felt very crazy to me. Like the mechanics were too different than what I was used to. That's why I was asking Scapuni if he's expecting something Kid Icarus like the 3DS one. Because I was expecting a new 3D Donkey Kong for quite a while or quite some time, especially because we were not getting a new Banjo Kazooie or something in these years. But then what we are getting now feels different to me. Like it feels a little bit, oh, this is not quite the one Donkey Kong I remember playing, or it's not the same as the 64 time. It felt like that to me, at least at first. So I'm still rewatching the trailer. I'm checking other people talking about it. For example, the last reaction I watched before starting the stream, the person was kind of complimenting the game that the animations looked great, and then I was paying more attention to them because the first time I saw that, I kind of felt weird about it. Not saying that I hated it, but it was different. So I was kind of like, I'm not sure if I will, enjoy this as much as other Donkey Kong games. It felt kind of crazy how he's doing everything with the landscape pretty much. Like he's digging, he's destroying it, he's getting the land and throwing the land. It's more action than what I was hoping for or maybe expected to see. But yeah, basically that's the thing. But I still think it's going to be a good game. I just need to get more used to the new mechanics of it, right? Because I did feel it was very weird or very crazy at first, at least. I knew it was going to be a Kirby game, I just was not expecting Air Ride. You knew it since the sound effects and also the star showed up, right? The 3DS Kid Icarus required a stylus to play. They also had that one support, right? I believe it came with the game, if I'm not mistaken, the physical copy. Yes, I know it has some sort of support to help you to play it. Just the star, okay, Nubble. So Scap was the one that recognized the sound effects, and also the YouTuber I watched. I was thinking about the Stardew, but like I said, I wasn't sure if it were Kirby or Mario or Smash Brothers even. But then I only knew it was Kirby's Air Ride when I saw the racetrack. Yeah, even the booster was not enough to me, right? We might be able to get away with using gyro controls for potential future tiles, and also the mouse feature, right? They were promoting so many games with the mouse feature. They were combining the gyroscope with the mouse feature as well for that one Nintendo Switch 2 test something. I forgot the name of the game, right? That sadly is a paid game, by the way. That should have been free and should have been available since day one with the console, but I have the feeling they are really milking from everything on this Switch 2 release, right? Like, the idea of upgrading your games from the Switch 1 into the Switch 2 versions by paying again for them sucks to me. And yeah, I'm actually thinking that maybe it is worth for some games uh, staying with them in their Switch 1 version still, because at least to my, I mean, it depends on the person, right? But to me, I don't think that my Switch 1 games look bad already, or like that they need to be upgraded, or that they need to run at more FPS frames or something. Honestly, to me, my Switch 1 games are already good enough, but maybe I'm not as demanding or as other people are, I'm not sure. But to me, I'm like, you know what? I think I'll keep my Switch 1 games the way they are and use my money to experience the new titles or the new things I haven't tried yet. Unless there is like a very big change, for example, the one in Super Mario Jamboree that was a very good, uh, I don't know, content, right? Extra content for it. Um, and also it felt a lot like a DLC in my opinion, even though it's not said as a DLC or not promoted as a DLC pretty much, but it is like a DLC, isn't it? But the other ones that were just like, oh yeah, this upgrades its performance on the Switch 2, I would be like, okay, but I don't plan on selling my Switch 1 or getting rid of my Switch 1. I like my Switch 1, and also I can play the same game on the Switch 2 with the cartridge. So I don't know. I felt like I'm good about that upgrade, at least for most games so far. But I feel like some people will end up spending a lot of money when they do the transition, and then I feel like that kind of sucks. I haven't double checked it, or like I can't say this 100% guaranteed for sure, but I read briefly, so you can check it later if it is real or not. Please don't take me too seriously, right? But I read briefly that so far, at least from what I have seen, the only one game that the upgrade won't be paid is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which in my opinion is very fair, right? If you have been following what happened to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet release, you might understand why it's very fair that they don't charge people for the upgrade on the Switch 2 version, right? That's the only one I saw that's going to be for free so far. But on the other hand, um, again, at least in my opinion, from what I have seen, maybe another person, another gamer will look at the same thing and think differently, and I will totally understand. But in my opinion, from the list of games that the Switch 2 won't be supporting, because I even post that list on Discord after I saw it, I did think the list was somewhat short, or it wasn't as big as what I was expecting. There are still some titles in there that are somewhat known or popular in a way. They are not completely, you know, nobody knows this game titles. No, there are games in there that I know that I want to play at some point. For example, another's Crab's Treasure. Wait, another's Crab's Treasure. There we go. Yeah, another's Crab's Treasure, which is a Souls-like game with like fantasy-looking graphics or like cartoonish graphics. I was even saying that it's a good introduction to a Souls-like game to me, that I'm not a Souls-like player or gamer at all. But then the one on the Switch has some bad performance, and also in that list, it was saying that the Switch 2 version of it also doesn't run very well. So yeah, that's a game that I'm interested to play, but maybe I would go for the Steam version or something. But yeah, like in general, from what I checked, none of my games were there. So basically, the games I own or I have bought so far, and also my friends' games that we share thanks to the account sharing, um, they were not listed. So I did think that the list was at least not as huge or as it wasn't that bad, right? But then definitely I recommend everybody checking that list to see if you want any of the games that won't be supported by the Switch 2, because it's not just the Nintendo Labo, right? There are some indie titles and there are third party games in there too. It should have been free. I agree, right? That's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, for most part of the direct itself, even though the announcements were very good and then the innovations were also surprising in many ways, it, they kind of gave they gave us all the idea that they are milking money, right? I felt like